Hello and welcome to the How to Communicate Your Needs and Feelings Masterclass without starting a fight, without pushing your partner away, without activating defensiveness, or just being scared to communicate. My name is Erica Wright. I'm a relationship coach, communication specialist, and I work with individuals and couples to help them create amazing, juicy, beautiful, life-changing relationships with themselves and with each other. And I've got my theme song playing in the background. I don't know if you know it. Higher Love by Kygo, Whitney Houston, and Mathis. And this song just represents this work that I do in the world. And really my mission is to raise everybody up to a higher love, like she says in the lyrics right now. I want to bring you to a higher love. And that involves communication and involves connecting with yourself. So let's dive in. I'm so excited to share this with you today. All right. Let's quiet Whitney in the background here so you can really just hear my voice and I can connect with you. So hello, hello, hello. And I really encourage you to be present for this class. And whether you like to be present by going on a walk and just like moving your body as the information flows in, or sitting down, taking notes, whatever that may be. There will be some moments during this class where you probably might want to write some stuff down or capture stuff in your notes section. We're also going to be going through an experiential exercise where I'll invite you to pause and connect with yourself because this is all about getting your needs met, your emotions, yourself, right? So we're going to do all of it today. Okay. So this class is really about one thing: communication, needs, emotions, amazing relationships. And you are in the right place if you know that you are meant for the kind of relationship where, you catch heads turning or you catch your friends and family being like, whoa, like that looks amazing. Where you really are an example of what's possible in the world when it comes to relationships. Um, I see you, if you're here, I know that you have the power to change things for yourself. You read the books, you listen to the podcasts, you've been rolling up your sleeves, looking inward, being really intentional with yourself and your relationships. You're doing the work, right? You're a cycle breaker, right? You're rewiring the patterns of dysfunction that were handed down to you from previous generations. You're like, no more. I'm done with this. This isn't working and I want more. I want to go to that higher love. Again, just quoting Whitney over here, right? So you are the one in your family maybe who's saying, I want something different. I want something bigger. I want something brighter. No more people pleasing, no more letting people walk all over me, no more codependency, no more, not feeling good enough or feeling like your feelings are too much. But when it comes to things like conflict or communicating your needs and feelings, you're just not feeling as effective or confident or powerful as you'd like to feel. And you are meant to have the kind of relationship that is even better than the one on your vision board. You know that you're meant to be an example of what's possible in love and relationships for others. You know deep within you that your ability to communicate in a way um, that really like calls more love into your life and into your relationship in a way that inspires your partner to really want to listen and to show up for you. Because when you communicate in a different way, when there's like a different tone, a different frequency, a different energy to what you're saying and how you're saying it and where it's coming from, your partner will respond. They will respond. I promise. I worked with hundreds of people showing them this work. I'm a living, walking, breathing example of this. And I'm just so excited to dive in and share this work with you so that you can communicate in a way that invites your partner to meet you where you are, that calls them to rise up, to see you fully, right? And really to show up for you in the way that you want to be shown up for, because you are worthy of that deeply intimate, wildly fulfilling, emotionally nourishing, beautifully healing, passionate romantic love. That's what we're here for. That's what we want, right? And I'm just going to give you this tool and these practices to go deeper with this work. So you are in the right place. If you want to learn what it takes to create the kind of relationship that makes you go, whoa, I never knew this kind of love and depth and intimacy and passion was even possible. This class is right for you if you want to learn how to confidently and clearly communicate in a way that makes it easy for your partner to understand you and listen to you and really like lean in and be willing to be solution focused with you and make compromises to solve the issue as a team. This class is for you if you'd like to be able to talk about anything with your partner, and be able to stay present and grounded, and not like shut down or get defensive or freak out and get angry like some of us sometimes do, right? This class is for you if you have tried to communicate your needs or feelings, but in the past, maybe you were met with anger or defensiveness or some type of reaction, shut down that you didn't like it didn't seem like a productive conversation. I'm going to teach you how to communicate in a way that's going to make it productive, right? Like I never want you to be in your head like, should I communicate this? Is this too much? How do I ask this? Like, are they gonna, what's their reaction gonna be? I want to eliminate the fear. I want that fear of communicating or even like this idea of conflict. I want all of that to disappear. I'm gonna reframe all that for you. So you are just like free to express yourself, free to express yourself. When I'm communicating in my relationship, yes, of course, I'm very intentional with my languaging and my words and my energy, but it's kind of just become an embodiment. This type of communication that I'm going to share with you today called connected communication, it's a way of being. It's really like an essence, it's a vibration. And I had to learn it just like you're going to have to learn it. It is like learning a new language where at first you're like, okay, I can say, yo quiero, Taco Bell. I can say a few lines, a few things, and I get the components and you kind of have to study it just like I did. But I'm going to present this to you and share this with you in a way where you can see it, you can digest it, and then you can immediately implement it in your relationship. Okay, so this class is for you if you are either the asker archetype or the thinker archetype. And the asker is the type of person who asks and asks and asks and asks and asks, but it's like their partner doesn't follow through, or it's like it doesn't land. And your partner might think of you as like nagging or you're complaining all the time, but really you're just trying to get your needs met, right? Like, but you don't necessarily have a problem with communicating. Like you're talking, it's just not effective, right? Or maybe you're the thinker, where you're more internal and like maybe your feelings get hurt, or maybe something upset you and you kind of like come inward with it and maybe like even kind of distance yourself a little bit from them, or you're like, you know what, I'm not going to respond to their text messages. I'm going to kind of just close up and be inward. Or you worry like, God, I want to like be connected with them. I want to solve this, but like, how do I say this? It's like with anything conflict, you like run for the hills, right? You spend so much time overthinking and over analyzing and not enough time actually communicating your truth with your partner. So whether you're the asker or the thinker or a combination of both of them, this is going to be, this is going to work for either way, right? So this class is also for you if you are willing and ready and open to taking accountability for the dynamic that is currently playing out between you and your partner. Right? I want you to think about you and your partner like you're doing a dance. You're doing the tango, or you're doing the Macarena, you're doing the waltz, something that requires both of you. And as you're doing that dance, you create something, you create a dynamic between the two of you. And so, and it takes two, right? And so whatever dynamic is going on, if you're feeling frustrated, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling hurt, if you're feeling confused, or maybe things are pretty darn good, and you're just here to up level. Whatever's going on though, I I invite you, and you know, if you're here, you're obviously already the kind of person who takes accountability, who realizes like, yeah, I get it. You know, of course it's not all of them. I'm playing into this dynamic. That's why I'm here at this class, and I'm willing to discover what can I do to communicate differently? What can I do to listen to them differently and in a way that's going to help you get your needs met, help you feel heard, understood, all those beautiful things, right? Um, so lastly, you are in the right place if you want your relationship to mirror the relationship that's been on your vision board for frickin' ever, right? You want to create your own version, your own unique version of, it's like your own romantic love story, right? We all hear that live happily ever after. Well, I believe that you can. I happen to be kind of a hopeless, helpless, what do they call them? Romantic. And like, oh my God, I grew up just like imagining, dreaming what it would like to, back in the day, I was watching Disney princess movies, right? So it's like my Prince Charming, like I just like oogled over romance and love and like, oh my gosh, just like all the love songs and all this. And I, for the longest time, didn't know it, but I was blocking myself from experiencing love for so many reasons. I can share more about that later, but I was blocking myself from love. And it sucked. And I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't have a path. I didn't know. I'm like, all I want is like this beautiful, amazing love experience, this relationship. But I didn't know how to get there, right? So it's literally been my life's work figuring out how to get there, and I've gotten there. And it's amazing, and it's better than I ever imagined. And so that's another reason why I want to share this with you, because I'm like, oh my God, like everybody needs to experience what I've been able to experience in my relationship. And not just experience, but I intentionally created it. And I want you to be able to do the same, and you can do the same. All right. So, that's what we're getting into. That's what you've signed up here. That's what you've signed up for here. And we're going to get tangible. I'm not just going to be talking and sharing stories. I'm also going to be giving you frameworks for things and outlines for things and questions to answer and things to think about. So we're going to do all of it today. Also, I wanted to let you know, you have a chance to enter into a giveaway, enter into a prize. And in this giveaway, anyone who enters actually gets the prize, which is kind of fun. So what it looks like is you can enter anytime. So during this class or after this class, whatever it may be, and how you enter is you post a post or a story or something like this to your social media and just share about this class. It's free, it's available to all, and my mission is to get it out to as many people as possible so that they also can uplevel their relationship, have their needs met, and feel better in their relationships and in their lives. And so you just, you know, if you want to do it to an Instagram story or whatever it may be, you just, however, you could share a takeaway from this. You could share a screenshot of me talking and just say, hey, I'm in this class. You should check it out too. And then tag me at the right Erica. That's my both Instagram and TikTok handle. So it's at and then my last name, WRIGHT, and then Erica, ERICA, at the right Erica. A little play on words there. So when you enter, what you are going to get is you are going to get my guide or ebook for how to have difficult conversations. And so this is my framework for any sort of difficult conversation that you might wanting to have with your partner, or really any conversation for that matter. It gives you scripts and everything you will need. And this it is kind of like a mini course in an ebook, and it is like, God, I could be charging like $100 for it. It is so complete, and I just want to give it away for free though. So that's how you enter. That's what you win if you enter and are willing to share this class with people. And, you know, I know that if you're here watching this, that you are the kind of person that loves to help others, which is why I'm inviting you and asking you to share this, because this class, if you feel like it is helpful for you, I'd love to have you just share takeaways so other people can experience the magic and the work as well. So thank you in advance if you do choose to enter and you do choose to share. Thank you for spreading love out there in the world. I am just, so excited to kind of get into the meat and potatoes of this. And just so you have a little snapshot of this work and what's possible with this work and kind of where we're going, I want to just share a client story. And let me share my screen here. Okay, so this is Sarah. And Sarah says, before coming to Erica, I was feeling insecure, anxious, and had been feeling disconnected from myself for a long, long time. Erica made it so much easier for me to reconnect with the best version of myself after just one session. I'm so excited to keep growing and working with her. And this is the communication piece that she's sharing here that pertains to some of the stuff that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. So she says, the communication tools have changed everything. I'm able to relax, have fun, be playful, and enjoy my time with my partner instead of worrying so much about the future. I'm able to calmly and confidently share my feelings and needs and have my partner respond with love and reassurance. I'm starting to understand myself more, my emotions, and how this affects interactions with my partner, and also understand why he might react in a certain way in situations or conflicts that we have. I look forward to more sessions with Erica. Okay, so that is just a sneak peek of, of what somebody has gotten from this work. And so I'm excited to dive in. And so here, I want to give you just a little bit of an overview of what we're going to cover in today's session here. And really, this today is about a higher level of thinking. So sometimes we like get in the weeds, and imagine you're like in the grass and all you can see is like it's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. All you can see is like these tall blades of grass and just like dirt and like worms. And you're just like, oh God, like how do I even get out of here? It's like Alice in Wonderland. It's like you can't even see or navigate, right? And that's sometimes where we get in relationships. If you get to a place of feeling sad, lonely, frustrated, pissed off, insecure, exhausted, depleted, all these things, right? Think of it, you're like in down in the weeds, right? And you don't have a clear view. And so what this class is going to do is it's going to give you a little hot air balloon that you can hold on to, and it's going to elevate you up above the weeds. So you can then look down at your life, at yourself, at your emotions, at your needs, at your partner, at your relationship with this beautiful bird's eye view perspective. And that is where the clarity and the wisdom and the groundedness is going to come from. So we're taking you up high into the big, clear blue sky today so you can get a bird's eye view perspective on things. And that's going to change everything, I promise. Okay. So today we're going to start. I'm going to share the difference between disconnected communication and connected communication. And then I'm going to get into sharing, how do you share your needs and feelings without like all the overthinking and worrying about their reaction. I'm also going to share the 6 biggest mistakes that I see people making when it comes to communication and sharing needs and feelings. And then I'm going to show you what to do instead so you don't keep making these mistakes that you might not know you're making. I'm also going to share the 6 universal needs and a list of relational needs that'll help you get clarity on your own specific needs and then how to get them met. I'm also going to share things to avoid saying. I have some connection killers that you want to make sure you're avoiding these connection killers when you're communicating with your partner. And then I'm going to share some tangible actions that you can do to get your needs met and feel confident in the way that you communicate and really create this loving, beautiful, connected experience with your partner or with anyone in your life, really. Of course, this work translates into all relationships. And I will tell you that one of those for me was the relationship with my amazing mother. And I would say my relationship with my mother has been the #1 most challenging relationship in my life, besides the one with myself. But with this work, holy shit, so much has changed. I'm able to spend weeks and weeks with her, and not like get triggered and agitated like I used to, and not, God, that'll be a whole nother masterclass, is mother wounds. But the point is that this applies to everything. If you have kids, coworkers, bosses, just you wait. Um, and then at the end, the last thing that I'm going to share with you is about my private coaching program called the Connected Love Experience. And this is my signature program that can help you create the kind of love that you want with yourself and with others. I want for everybody to be able to have the kind of relationship that feels connected and understanding and emotionally safe and wildly romantic. And it's like you and your partner cannot wait to rip each other's clothes off, but also it's like, like my heart feels safe. I feel at peace. My inner child feels at ease around you, right? Like I want everyone to have that. And that is what my one-on-one coaching promise is. Okay, so let's move on to some of the first things here that I want to share. And I'm just kind of scrolling. Let me see. Okay, so my intention by the end of this training is that you leave here with a little bit of a smile on your face. That you're like, okay, I see a path. I see hope. This actually is solvable. And now I see the clear steps to solve whatever issue is going on in your relationship. I will share with you that communication issues are usually actually safety issues, trust issues, emotional connection, or rather disconnection issues. Communication, kind of just that's like the surface level symptom that we get when we're having all these underlying other things, right? So we're gonna get into all of that, and I'm gonna share more. All right. So I'm seeing you and your partner like sharing dinner together and just gazing over at each other with this like, damn, I'm so lucky to have met you. Look in your eyes. And you're just kind of like oogling over each other. Like there's this newfound like love and connection. Like you literally are going to be looking through different eyes at your partner and your relationship situation when you leave this class. That is how it works. What we're doing here is, again, right? I'm giving you that balloon so you get out of the weeds and the bird's eye view perspective. We're literally putting a different pair of glasses on so you can freaking actually see what's going on in your relationship and with yourself and with your needs and your emotions and your partner. We're changing your frequency. We're changing your vibration. You know that if you're hanging out down in fear or doubt or blame or shame or anger or passive aggressiveness, that doesn't feel good in your body. Those are lower frequency vibration, lower frequency emotions. So I'm bringing you up to a higher level of love. That is what we're up to. And when you're in that higher frequency of love, you're just going to show up differently. You're going to feel different. You're going to communicate differently. And it's not going to take so much work to try to like express what you need to express with your partner. And I want to share one more experience from a client with you. Let's see. Let's do Laura. Where is Laura? Okay, so Laura said, working with you saved my relationship, not only with my partner, but with my mother. She and I had similar mother-daughter experiences. So she says, thank you so much for your help. You are truly the best at what you do. And I'll just read you a couple of these pieces. She said, before working with Erica, I had been in relationship after relationship where I felt unprioritized, misunderstood, not important, anxious, insecure, and not good enough. And now I understand why. I realized I had an anxious attachment style and never knew it. I thought I was just stuck feeling this way forever. I thought something was wrong with me and I had a lot of embarrassment around it. And so what Laura and I did in our work together, and some of what I'll be sharing with you today is a process called parts work. And that is a modality where you create a secure attachment with yourself and with the parts of you, right? Like if you have an insecure part or an I'm not good enough part or a shameful part or some part of you that like overthinks and overanalyzes and worries. So parts work is the modality that creates a deep level of healing and self-awareness. And also it's my favorite way to go from anxious to secure attachment. All right. And for those of you who don't know me really, and you just signed up for this class and you haven't been following me for that long, I'm just gonna quickly introduce myself. My name, I said at the beginning, is Erica Rice. I'm a relationship coach, communication specialist, and parts work facilitator for both individuals and couples. And so I have a program called the Connected Love Experience, where you can learn everything you need to attract and then maintain and create a thriving relationship. And of course, it starts with a relationship with yourself. You cannot go deep with somebody else. What's this quote? You can only go as deep with somebody else as you've gone with yourself, right? So it all has to come from you. And this, the work that I do with people is really like, I mean, it stems from personal growth and personal healing. And it's all about feeling confident, secure, tapping into your most authentic self. Because then from there, it's like the negative self-talk goes down, the self-judgment goes down, and your ability to freely express what you need and want in your relationship, that skyrockets. That's what we're looking for. I used to be like severely anxious, attached, and insecure, and my self-worth was like down the drain. I had this pattern of dating like unavailable people. I would like chase unavailable love. That's what I would go after. And I came to realize it was because I was deathly afraid of actually like letting myself be seen. Like intimacy, I didn't know it at the time because I thought I want a relationship. I want an amazing relationship. But I was so deathly afraid of true, vulnerable, real intimacy, which is into me you see, which didn't know that either, right? So letting somebody actually see into me and then decide if they want to be with me or not, like see all the parts of Erica. Holy shit, did that scare the living daylights out of me. So no wonder I was the perfect match for avoidant, unavailable people, right? Whoever you're dating, whoever you've been attracting, whatever your pattern in relationships has been, you're a perfect match for it, right? And so I had to realize, oh damn, I'm the perfect match for an unavailable person in relationships because I'm emotionally unavailable to myself, right? And that has all changed, thank God. I have, been on this journey for over a decade, maybe close to 2 by now. And all the pain that I experienced of like all these, heartbreaks and failed relationships and God, just such low confidence and low self-worth in when it came to relationships with work, career, great, but relationships, oh my God, I was a total mess. But the pain of it all led me into my own healing journey, into doing this work, and now being able to be a guide, a healer, a mentor for other people who are ready to do this work as well and experience this magic. And so, also, I would say that this has led me really into the arms of my soulmate, my current boyfriend. And I will just share, just because, want to be cute. I'm just going to share this. Oh, let's see. Oh yeah, you can see this. Yeah, these little photos of us. So this is Langley, this is my boyfriend, and our dog Bryce. And you guys, like, this is the best relationship I've ever experienced. And it has just, like, I had all these ideas of, who I wanted to be in a relationship with once I did this work and became extremely self-aware and very clear on what I wanted. And I had this like whole list of like, yeah, I want him to be like this, and he'll be like this, and whatever it may be. And this guy far exceeds any of what I even was possible to, like, even what I dreamed up. And so that is also what I want for you, where whether you're in a relationship or you're not in a relationship, that you can, like, if you're in one, I want you to be rediscovering your partner and yourself in a way that like, you're like, oh, wow, okay, now I have the tools to take this love to where I knew it's meant to be. Okay. So that's what I want for you. Um, okay. And so let's see. Um, yeah, I just can't express enough like how much your mind is going to be totally blown when you actually implement these tools. And I just love this quote that the quality of our lives is determined by the quality of our relationships. And the quality of our relationships is, of course, determined by the quality of our communication. And the quality of our communication is determined by the quality of our awareness of self and our awareness of other, our partner, right? And so let's dive in. Okay, so I want to lead you through and begin with this exercise that is going to move you forward into the process of getting your needs met, of feeling how you want to feel, which is heard, loved, connected, understood. Okay, so we are going to wherever you are, you can pause this if you're driving. If you're not, I encourage you to just like sit back and let your eyes rest closed and just connect inward with yourself for just a few moments. And just take a breath and just get present with yourself. Find your breath and notice the quality of your breath. Is it short? Is it fast? Is it tight? Is it slow? Is it deep? And you can always use your breath as a dial. So if you're feeling anxious or overwhelmed or frustrated, that means your body is in a stress response. And your breath is the quickest, easiest way to dial it down. We want your nervous system calm, regulated, safe, connected. And so just slow down your breath. Just be with yourself for just a few moments here. And notice what's going on within you right now. What are you currently feeling? What's alive in you? What parts of you are active? Notice and just observe your thoughts. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. And we can be feeling and experiencing multiple things at the same time. Like sometimes I have a frustrated part of me that's like ticked off and pissed off, and this happened, and how could they have said that? Blah, blah, blah. But underneath that, maybe there's more of a vulnerable part that's feeling sad or disconnected, hurt, or lonely. And so just check and see what's there for you. And I'm going to lead you through a sentence stem exercise. So I'm going to start the sentence and you just finish it without thinking. Just let your answer flow out of your mouth. So if your eyes aren't closed already, let them close now. And just be with yourself. Be very tuned in. This is what it's like to be emotionally available to yourself. And so here's the first sentence. And you just answer it, whatever's right there, top of mind. Right now, I feel. And notice if there's multiple emotions there. Where I feel that in my body is. Notice if there's sensations in your chest, or your stomach, your head, or your neck. Now put your hand over that part of your body, wherever you're feeling the strongest sensation. If this part of my body could speak, it would say, if that part of your body could speak, what would it tell you? What would it remind you of? Hearing that makes me feel something that's been bothering me or feeling hard to handle is. Thinking about that thing that's been bothering me makes me feel what I need most right now is. What is it that you need right now? Do you need peace, connection, understanding? And just know that no matter what that need is, no matter what it is, that need can and will be met. I'm going to show you how to meet it. I'm going to show you how to meet it yourself. And I'm also going to show you how to invite your partner to help you meet that need. And just spend one more moment here with yourself. And just also noticing any parts of you there with different emotions. There may be this part of you that has this need. I need connection. I need understanding. I need open communication. I need help. I need support. See if you can just see that as a part of you. And then take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And let your eyes open whenever you're ready. And how did it feel to be honest, gentle, compassionate, and truly present with yourself, with your feelings, with these parts of you? What was that like? So, congratulations. You just met a need for yourself by slowing down and pausing and doing that exercise. You probably met your need to feel calm. You probably met your need to feel heard because you were pausing to listen to yourself. Our partner sometimes sucks at meeting our need to feel heard, but you can always pause and check in with you, just like we did, and see what's there. What is it that you really need? Okay. All right. So let's dive into the 6 mistakes that I see people make when communicating their needs and their feelings. You might not know you're making these mistakes, but I'm going to illuminate them for you so you can make sure that you're not doing these things. Okay. So the first mistake that people are making is that they are using disconnected communication instead of connected communication. And I'm going to share what the difference is by sharing my screen here. Okay. Share. All right. So we have disconnected communication and we have connected communication. Let me see if I can make this. Oh yeah, that fits on the screen. There we go. Okay. All right. So disconnected communication comes from this energy and belief that I need you to change so that I can be happy. All right. It includes blaming, controlling, demanding, expecting, assuming, self-abandoning, limiting your own self-expression, like withholding truth or stonewalling, pleasing, compromising, guilt tripping, shaming, criticism and nagging, competing to be right, convincing or justifying, defending, emotional immaturity, and fear. All right. And then on the other side, we have connected communication. That's what we're going to get into today. And this comes from this energy and this mantra that I am responsible for creating my own happiness. My thoughts are what create my happiness. And so this puts you in the power seat. When you stop blaming them for how you're feeling, you take all your power back. You're like, oh, wow. Oh my God, I can actually like create something here. I don't need to wait around for you to change. I can be the one to take initiative here. So this is responsibility, heartfelt understanding, safety and trust, empathy, truth, authenticity, full self-expression. So speaking your truth, letting yourself be seen, appreciation of differences, collaboration, inspiration, acknowledgement, gratitude, presence with each other. This is a big one. Life moves so fast. It makes all the difference in the world that when your partner is talking to you, you drop what you're doing and you give them eye contact and you focus. You be present with the person that you love. Right. And if for whatever reason you're really in the middle of something, then you just let them know, hey, I really want to listen to you. I really want to be present with you. Can I finish this so I'm not multitasking? Right. Autonomy, freedom, choice, intimacy, empowerment, unmesswithable connection, emotional maturity. And this is the energy of love. This is the juice. This is what I'm talking about. The love, the love, the love, the love, right? Whitney Houston, higher love. This is where we're going, right? And what is the line in the sand between disconnected communication and connected communication is judgment and blame. That's what really makes the difference. Because when you get into blame, you render yourself powerless. Blaming your partner for how you feel in your experience of life is like gathering up all your power and willingly handing it over to them and saying, okay, you fix it. And then you just sit here with your arms crossed and you wait and you wait and you get more pissed off and more resentful and more passive aggressive and more withholding of love and more avoidant. And oh my gosh, it's just, you know exactly what happens. That's why the divorce rate is what it is. So instead, I'm going to invite you over and over and over again to take ownership for the experience that you want to have in your life and your relationship. And I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm not just going to leave you like, yeah, take responsibility. I'm going to show you what to do to feel better, to get your needs met. Okay. So that is the first mistake people are making. And the second mistake is that when they're trying to communicate their needs and their feelings, they're actually communicating their need strategies and their thoughts, right? So you think you're communicating your needs, but there's a distinction between needs and need strategies. And then you think you're communicating your feelings, but you're actually communicating your thoughts, not your actual emotions, right? So let's start with the emotions part of that, because I think it's a little bit quicker and easier. So you might say, like, I feel like you never show up for me anymore, right? That is not a feeling. That is a thought, right? You have a thought that they never show up for me anymore, right? That thought leaves you feeling sad, right? So emotions, feelings are sad, happy, glad, upset, hurt, right? So make sure when you are actually communicating your feelings that you're actually communicating your feelings and separating your thoughts from your emotions, right? I sometimes I have this thought that you don't understand me, and then that leaves me feeling sad again. That leaves me feeling disconnected from you. So separating that. And then we're gonna let's look at needs versus need strategies. Okay, so there are 6 universal needs and then a whole array of relational needs. The 6 universal needs are certainty, which is like safety, assurance that you can avoid pain and gain pleasure. Uncertainty or variety. This is the need for the unknown, for change, for new stimuli. The third one is significance. Feeling unique, important, special, or needed. Feeling like you matter, right? Like feeling important to your partner, the need for significance, and just the need for significance in life with any relationship. The fourth one is our need for love and connection. That one's pretty obvious. That's why you guys all are all here today. And this need for love and connection, right, is like that feeling of like closeness, of union with someone or something. The fifth universal need is growth. We have this need, again, this is why you guys are here today, right? Like this need for growth and expansion. Yeah, you get it, personal growth. And then the sixth universal need is the need for contribution. So this is a sense of service and focusing on helping, giving support to others. So my job, the work that I do in the world, right, that meets this need of mine, right? I have this need, this desire to be of service to you, to anyone who's listening. And it's pretty magical that the work that I do gets to meet that need for me, right? So those are needs. And then I'm also going to share with you, let me share my screen again to share with you, just so you can kind of get a snapshot of all these different relational needs, right? Joy, humor, to be understood, community, closeness, cooperation, belonging, clarity, honest communication, ease, inspiration, harmony, order, choice, freedom, security, intimacy, love, companionship, closeness, communication, belonging, right? Appreciation. You get the picture. So these are needs, which are different than need strategies. So I'm going to get into need strategies next, so you can see how this works. Okay, so a need strategy is, let's say, like I have a need for connection. My need strategies for connection could be calling up a friend, could be going and playing with my dog. I could connect with myself. I could go inward and be like, okay, Erica, like, how you feeling? How you thinking? What's going on? What do you need? Right? I could journal. That's another way that I connect with myself. I could connect with my body by like listening to music, exercise, movement. That always connects me into myself. Also connecting with a higher power, with source, spirit, whatever you want to call it, the universe, God, connecting that way, your guides. That's a way to meet your need, a need strategy for connection. You could also go snuggle up with your partner. That's a great way to connect. You could also you could connect emotionally by like, I don't know, sharing something vulnerable with them. You could connect physically by making out with them. So do you see that there's this need of connection, but then all these different need strategies, right? And so the need strategy is sometimes where we can like get hung up on this, because we're like, I need you to do XYZ around the house or whatever. And that can be helpful, but it can also land as a complaint with your partner, and they're not clear and you're not clear on like, what actually is my need, right? And maybe you have a need for order or teamwork or cooperation or collaboration or something like that. And then we get so attached to our need strategies, and then we don't actually create a open space for you and your partner to figure out, okay, cool, well, how do we meet your core need? Let's figure out a strategy that works for you and works for me, right? So wanting to go to a movie with someone is not a need, okay? Um, desire to spend time with a certain person on a certain day, that's not a need. In that case, the need might be companionship or connection, right? And you can meet your need for companionship in many ways. It doesn't have to be with a specific person in a certain way, and it doesn't have to be by a certain time, okay? So needs are universal. Everybody has these needs, especially those 6 core universal needs, but then those core relational needs that I shared with you, you and your partner might like rate them differently. You might be like, I have a really strong core need for like physical touch and physical connection or words of affirmation, right? And your partner might be like, I have, my needs are a little bit different over here. Like, yes, I need that stuff too, but I prioritize, something else, right? So just being aware that you and your partner have different need hierarchies and priorities. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I want to give you just like a communication example of what not to do and what to do when expressing needs and need strategies. So let's see. All right, so you might say something like, sometimes what we say is stuff like this. I feel like you never, want to hang out with me anymore, right? So that's not actually letting your partner know what you need, and it's not inviting them into helping you meet your need, right? It's more of just like a complaint. It's actually a thought. You're not even sharing your feeling around it. Sharing your feeling, your vulnerable emotion around it, that's going to help your partner start to understand you and get you, right? So instead, you might say, sometimes I think that you don't want to hang out with me and I feel sad. And I realize like I have a need for consistent connection and open, honest communication with you. Would you be willing to schedule some time this week to connect and communicate? Right? So we want to share an actual emotion, an actual feeling. That creates vulnerability and emotional intimacy, and that leads to, again, connecting with your partner and trust and all those good things. Okay, so that's that one. That mistake number 2, again, is you're not actually communicating your needs and you're not actually communicating your feelings. You're more so communicating thoughts and complaints and need strategies. All right, so all right. So, and I'll give you a couple other ways of saying, I don't know, just communicating needs, right? So it could sound like this. I value honesty and transparency. It's important for me to know that we can openly discuss topics without fear of judgment, right? That's a very direct, clear, here's my need, without complaints, without the thoughts, without the, attachment to need strategies. Another one might sound like this. I need reassurance and affirmation in our relationship. Can we make an effort to express love and appreciation regularly? All right, there we go. Inviting them into a request, into action. A third one might sound like this. I want to feel like we're a team in managing household responsibilities. When are you open to discuss a fair division of chores? Right? So a little different from, God, like you're such a slob, you literally don't do anything around the house, right? That doesn't work. All right, you get the picture. All right, let's move on to the next mistake that people are making, which actually is perfect, leads me right into this. People complain instead of making a request, right? And so when you're complaining, you're probably in a triggered or activated state. And that's not a great way to get your needs met either. If you're just like, you never, you always, blah, 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 make complaints like God, there's like stuff all over the place, or, you know, you don't care about me, or, you know, whatever it may be, making complaints instead of actually making a request, that's going to make the difference for you. Okay, so yeah, with that, like when you're complaining, usually, like I said, it's usually coming from an activated state, and it is your job to communicate your needs and feelings in a way that your partner can receive you and what you're sharing, what you need. And I can remember one time where I was fired up about something and feeling emotional about it, and had this energy that I was speaking to my boyfriend with, and he a couple minutes into the conversation was like, hey, you know, Air, I really want to understand what you're sharing, but the emotional intensity right now is making it difficult for me to stay present with you. Would you be willing to speak to me with a different tone, a different energy? And I was like, oh shit, yeah, I am fired up right now. Cool. Let me just take a breath. Let me collect myself. Let me calm myself down. And then I was able to communicate to him with like a calmer, softer energy. And then he was able to listen. Okay. So I know that if your partner tells you, calm down, like take it down a notch, usually that makes you go through the roof, right? So I'm lucky that my partner has the communication tools to be able to say, hey, I want to understand you, but the intensity is a little much for me, right? He languages it in a way that doesn't put me through the roof. But also, we've created a dynamic in our relationship where if he was like, hey, could we like take your energy down a notch, right? It wouldn't put me through the roof, because I see that as he's inviting me into connection with him, right? He's inviting me. He's like, I'm committed to hearing you, but I can't, it's hard for me to hear you through all the intensity. So notice where you're communicating from. That's going to help them be able to listen and receive what you want and what you need. You're much more likely to get your needs met if you're coming from a grounded, clear place. Okay. All right. So the next mistake that people make is that they don't separate facts from their story about the facts, their thoughts about the facts. This distinction will literally save you from so many fights, and it'll save you from the like, that's not what happened, you know, this is what happened. It's going to save you so much time and energy. And so what you want to do for this is, I use a tool called the thought model with all of my clients, and this is where we separate the facts or the circumstance from your thoughts, from the meaning that you added to what happened. So for instance, if your partner it picks you up, is like late to pick you up for something, let's say, the facts are, we agreed to meet at 7 p.m. My partner, you know, arrived at 7:15 p.m. Those are the facts. Then we want to look at your thoughts, right? Depending on who you are, if you're like me, I'm probably not bothered by that because sometimes I'm the one that's late. I might not think anything of it. I might think, oh shoot, you know, there must have been traffic or something. I might give them the benefit of the doubt because that's what I'm in the habit of doing in my relationship. Now, if you're somebody else, you might think he's so disrespectful. He doesn't respect my time. You know, he doesn't prioritize me. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about me. And then your thoughts create how you're feeling. So notice that I didn't say that your partner being late made you feel pissed off or unprioritized or sad or whatever it may be. I said your thoughts about them being late is what caused you to feel a certain way. That type of emotional maturity, emotional awareness is going to change the game for you when you're not at the effect of other people all the time. Right? So that's that. Separate the facts from your thoughts. And then have a conversation with your partner, right? All right, the next mistake. They, all right, so the next mistake people make is they don't clearly and directly communicate their needs and feelings, or they don't communicate them at all. So this is more for my like thinker archetype people probably, where they're like, their partner does something, it hurts their feelings, and then they just like sit with it in silence. They like suffer in silence. And the next time they talk to their partner, they like kind of just, they're either passive aggressive and like, okay, I'm not gonna like respond to them for a while. And then they get over it and then they just like never talk about it with them and just pretend like they're okay when really they're not okay. They're freaking pissed off, but they're just like, oh, thank God, at least we're back in connection again. So if you're not actually speaking your truth or speaking up for what you want and what you need, you're not going to get your needs met the way that you need. You are in charge, right, of getting your needs met and being able to communicate that directly to your partner. Your partner is not a mind reader. They do not know what's going on in your beautiful head. You've got to share with them and let them know what your experience is and what you need. Okay, so I will say that some people who are in this boat where they're not communicating their needs or they're kind of being subtle, they're like, well, shouldn't he pick up on my clues or shouldn't she pick up on my clues about what I want or what I need? Shouldn't they just know? And that's just a recipe for disaster. And so you've got to look at where did I get this expectation that my partner should just know? Or what's going on that's stopping me from communicating my feelings or my needs, especially the more vulnerable, sensitive feelings? And most of the time, people don't speak up because they're scared. They're scared of what how their partner's gonna respond. They're scared of how they're gonna appear or come off. Like, am I gonna appear needy or desperate or annoying or nagging? Am I gonna appear too sensitive? How are they gonna react? Right? There is so much fear that goes on here when it comes to communicating your needs and feelings. And that is really that is such a core piece of the work that I do with my clients is removing the barriers to communication. And the barriers are always fear, and the fear is always comes from the way that you are thinking, right? So if you're thinking God, like, I don't know how they're going to respond to me. That creates worry, maybe anxiety and fear. And then you're less likely to communicate whatever it is that you want to share. Or if you're thinking, oh God, if I like share this need, they're going to think I'm too much and I'm going to push them away. Well, that thought creates fear. So we want you open, clear, at ease, at peace. We want you hopeful. When you're thinking about communicating your needs and feelings with your partner, open, optimistic, or at least neutral, right? So you've got to start looking at what thoughts am I thinking that are causing me to feel how I'm feeling about communication. So if you want to feel confident, right? Which is basically the opposite of fear. It's confidence is just like we just remove the fear and then there you are. It's just kind of like your baseline state, which a lot of people don't realize that if you remove the fear and all the negative self thoughts and the insecurities and the doubts and all that, which is just fear, if we remove the fear, what's left is just clear, calm, grounded confidence, curiosity, openness, compassion, willingness to connect. And so you got to look at, okay, what can I start thinking about myself or my needs or my partner that will make it easier for me to have a conversation with them? It might be my needs are worth sharing and expressing. It might be that my feelings are valid and it's my job to share these feelings with my partner if I'm looking for the type of love and connection and reassurance and understanding that I've been wanting. You might think, ultimately, my partner does want to hear what I have to say because that's what's going to have our relationship work. If I don't communicate, well, we know what's going to happen. And I'm pretty sure they don't want Your partner doesn't want, you don't want to break up. Your partner doesn't want you to break up. So start exploring, what can I be thinking to change my relationship to communication? Okay. All right. So last mistake here that people make, mistake number 6, is that they don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to meet their needs themselves. So we grow up in a culture and society where it's like we are always looking outside of ourselves to feel better and to meet our needs. And so what I see, I have a lot of clients where they come to me and they're relying so heavily on their partner to meet their needs, to feel to feel confident, to feel clear, to feel safe, to feel certain, to feel loved, to feel wanted, to feel desired. And the biggest need that I see people reaching to their partner for is the ability to feel calm. So they don't know how to meet their need to feel calm and at ease. They don't know how to self-soothe if they're feeling like anxious and like, oh my God, and I like gotta solve this. And, just a whirlwind of thoughts and spiraling, right? And they're like thinking, I need my partner to do something differently or have a conversation with me right now so that I can feel better. Or I need my partner to be like this so that I can feel confident, versus meeting their own need, creating the experience of confidence for themselves first, and then going into the relationship. Um, we, you are whole and complete on your own. Partners are amazing. Love is magic. I think life is way juicier when you're partnered with somebody else. Like, it's magic. It's amazing. It's beautiful. And you come to that relationship whole and complete, meaning you can meet all of your needs. And your partner is just like the cherry on top. And so that is how I want you to start experiencing yourself and your relationship, that your life can be big, can be beautiful, can be amazing, so full, where you're feeling how you want to feel and your needs are all met. And then your partner on this beautiful Sunday of life, and then your partner is like just the cherry on top of this already like epic, amazing Sunday that you've already created. So that you're not, this helps you not slip into control and force and manipulation and to being attached to your need strategies. I need you to be like this and like this. I need you to do this, and it's got to be like this. And otherwise, I'm not happy. Otherwise, I don't feel whole. Otherwise, I don't feel good enough. Otherwise, I don't feel chosen. Otherwise, I don't feel prioritized. And so when you realize and learn how to meet your own needs, everything changes. Take so much pressure off of your partner and off of your relationship. And then love and connection can flow when you remove control and you remove fear. You remove, I need you to be a certain way so that I can be happy. It's amazing. Okay. So within this, I will share this emotional mastery practice that I teach my clients. And this is meeting your own need to feel like validated, meeting your own need for, yeah, validation or to be heard. And so oftentimes what I see is that couples are in conflict and something's going on. And if they're not feeling heard or they're not feeling like their partner understands them, what they do is they raise their voice and they speak louder and they speak faster and they start repeating themselves, which then causes their partner to want to listen to them less. And so they're trying to get this need met to feel validated or to feel heard, but how they're reacting, how they're interacting with their partner is lowering their ability to get that need met, if that makes sense. And sometimes our partner just does not have the capacity to meet our needs, to feel heard if it's in a difficult conversation. So what this emotional mastery practice looks like is that you recognize if your partner's like too triggered, too agitated, like you're recognizing that the conversation could go off the rails, that you pause, take a break from the conversation, and you go meet your own need to feel validated and heard. You meet your own need to feel safe and calm and understood by connecting with yourself. And the process that I teach all of my clients is this process called parts work or internal family systems, where you are literally dialoguing with these parts of you that are needing to be heard, that are feeling upset, that are feeling, whatever it may be, pissed off with your partner. And if your partner isn't available to continue the conversation with you, if they're not meeting your need to feel heard, then you go meet that need yourself. You connect with you. Makes sense? Or you meet that need yourself by connecting with somebody like me, a coach or a therapist, or somebody who's a professional who can hear you, who can listen to you, and you can get that need met. That's magic. Okay, so those are the six communication mistakes that people make when they're communicating their needs and their feelings with people. And so now I'm going to share with you something called the connected communication framework. So I want to show you how this looks and sounds in action so that you can actually apply this in your relationship today if you want to, and start using this framework to plug in what you might want to communicate to your partner. Okay, and so let me share my screen so you can see this thing. Okay. All right. So here's the connected communication framework, and I'm also pulling from I guess you would call it a practice or a framework called nonviolent communication. Highly recommend it. Google it if you want to dive deeper, but I'm going to give you some examples here. Okay, so this connected communication framework, I will also figure out a way to get you this document. Maybe I'll link it below this video or something so that you can have this framework. All right, so we're going to run through this quickly, and then you can take a look at it and deep dive with it yourself. So steps to a connected conversation. So to begin, you always want to have these conversations once your nervous system is regulated, grounded, calm. Once you've done the pre-work of realizing, okay, what happened? What are the facts? And then what did I make the facts mean? My partner didn't text me back for 6 hours. What did you make that mean? And where did your head go? Did you spiral into an anxious thing? Or are you like, cool, whatever, he's probably busy? So separate that out so you are clear. Get yourself regulated. Exercise, journal, shake your body, listen to a song, change your state before you have a conversation. Get yourself grounded, clear, and peaceful so that the conversation can go well. Then here's how you approach it. So, and this is something, again, that I teach all my clients. And just the other day, I got a call from one of my favorite clients. I actually work with husband and wife and then them separately. And she's like, oh my God, Erica, your voodoo magic thing worked. I did exactly what you told me to do. And, my husband was so open and loving, and I cried and he hugged me, and it was just so amazing. Okay. So people are using this. It works. You can work it too. So we start with what I call a connection request, which is different from an action request, which I'll show you in a moment what the difference is there. And the connection request sounds like this. Hey, I have something I'd like to share. Do you have time? And if not now, when would work for you? And actually, oh, this is fun. Let me put my little video here so you can see me too. Okay, cool. All right. Hello. Okay, so you're basically checking in with them and saying hey, I'd like to share some thoughts and feelings. Are you available? So this lets them know that you have something meaningful that you're going to say. This isn't just any conversation, how's the weather? What are the kids doing? Whatever it may be. Did you walk the dog today? It's hey, there's something intentional that I want to share with you here. And if now's not a good time, then pick a time and schedule a time to have the conversation. Okay. So that's how you start. That's how you start it. That gives you the chance to get their full attention so that you feel heard. All right, because so much of the time we just kind of like spill these things on our partner just like out of nowhere, and like it doesn't go well, right? So we want to have this soft startup here to make sure it's like, okay, cool, stop what you're doing. Like, I want to have this conversation with you. All right, then you share your intention. I want to share this with you because I want to feel more connected to you and I want to get on the same page. All right. So you always want to ask yourself, like, what's the purpose of this communication? Like, what do I want out of it? What's my goal? That intention can be helpful ahead of time. Your intention also might be, I just want I just want you to listen. I don't even like want solutions. I just all I want is like space to speak into. Like, are you willing just to like listen and validate and empathize with me? So you get clear on what do I want and what do I need out of this conversation, and you ask them for that and share your intention. Um, you can also share any fear that you have around the conversation. I notice that most of my clients are afraid to communicate about the real stuff. They'll talk about what they're going to have for dinner and the dog all day long, but they have fear around actually like saying the truth, the real juice, actually allowing themselves to be seen, because that's really what it is. If you have this fear of communication, it really is like, it's a fear that at the root is like fear of like actual intimacy, right? Like you're literally opening up your heart, your chest to show them, here's what's inside. Here's what's really happening in here, right? Here's the real me. I know that I've always said yes to going camping with you, but I don't really like camping or whatever it is, right? You're opening yourself up to potential rejection, which is for the subconscious part of our mind, which our primitive brain, our fear brain, that's responsible for our stress responses, the fight or flight response. That is like the worst thing that you could ever do, is open yourself up to potential rejection, which is why people are afraid to communicate. Now, that fear is something that if you work with me one-on-one, we clear that thing out of the way. So you have this freedom to just express without all the fear. So yeah, you could share your fear. You could say, I'm a little afraid to share this because I'm afraid of sounding too needy. Or I'm afraid of sounding insecure, or I'm afraid that what I'm going to share is going to like make you mad or push you away. I'm afraid that you might take this the wrong way, right? So just putting it all out on the table to let them know your experience. Again, this is vulnerability. This is emotional intimacy here. Then you can share the observation or the neutral circumstance, right? So you said you were coming home at 12 and it's now 1 p.m. That's what happened. That's the neutral circumstance. It's neutral until you have a thought about it, right? For depending on the circumstance, right? Like, if you just don't care what time your partner is home, you wouldn't have a thought about it. Or maybe you were out to dinner with your girlfriends or guy friends or whatever, and it literally doesn't matter what time your partner was home. That's just the fact. Now, if you had made a 5-course dinner for them and they said that they were going to be home at 12 and they're an hour late, you're probably going to have some different thoughts about that. That's going to create some different emotions. See what I'm saying here? So as you're stating the observation or the neutral facts, you might use some hedging. You might say, this may or may not be true. This is a different one than the home. You could say something like, this may or may not be true, but I sensed annoyance in your voice when you asked me to help wash the car. I'm just making things up here, right? So when you're stating the observation, if it's something that could be touchy or sensitive for them, you could just say, that's the languaging my partner and I use, as this may or may not be true, I don't know, but I like sensed you were a little frustrated with me this morning. Is that right? Did I hear that clearly? You can also use this languaging. I see blank, or I'm hearing blank. These are great ways to state an observation clearly so the other person hears it as an observation, not as fact or truth. Okay. I see that there are still dishes in the sink. What's going on there, right? There we go. All right. The next part of the communication framework is the meaning your mind added to the circumstance. All right. So again, I talked about separating facts from your thoughts, or what happened versus the meaning your mind added to the facts. So this is your interpretation of what happened. Your partner was home at 1, but they said they were going to be home at 12. What did you make that mean about them, about you, about the relationship? Okay. So again, this languaging, this may or may not be true, but a part of me made that mean that you don't care about me. Or I know it wasn't your intention, but a part of me thought you don't care about me. These are both ways to share the meaning in a way that's least likely to trigger reaction and defensiveness in your partner. And this is where you want to use hedging. So again, so that you don't trigger a protective or defensive reaction in your partner. Hedging is like wrapping a pillow in peanut butter for your dog. It makes, like, if there's something that might be sensitive for them, it makes it a little bit easier to hear and digest. So examples of hedging are, you probably didn't intend to, but, or maybe I heard you wrong. It's possible that you didn't hear me. So let me share what I was going to share again. Perhaps I forgot what you said. This may or may not be true, which you've heard me use before. Or I know you didn't mean to, but blah, 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 blah. Right? That's how hedging works. All right. So once you've shared your, you've gotten your partner's attention, they're listening to you, you can share, hey, like, I want to have this conversation because I've been feeling disconnected from you. I want to get back on the same page. I'm a little scared to have the conversation because, I'm afraid you might take it the wrong way, or that I might say the wrong thing. A lot of my clients are just afraid to have conversations because they're afraid they're going to say the wrong thing, and then it's going to trigger their partner, and then it's going to start a fight. So just say that, tell that, like, I'm learning this new thing. I'm trying these new ways of communicating. I'm a little afraid that I'm going to say this wrong, but like, could you just give me some grace as I practice this? I'm really trying to communicate in a way that is easy for you to digest, right? Share the observation, the meaning that you added, and then name your emotions, share your feeling. And again, do not mask a thought as a feeling. So, not a feeling sounds like this. I feel like you never understand me. That's actually a thought, right? So you can say, sometimes I think you never understand me. An actual feeling might sound like this. When I don't think you understand me, I feel sad. So I feel hurt. I feel this like intense like pit in my stomach, and I feel heat in my face. So you can let them in on the emotion or like the emotional experience, the sensations. Like when I'm talking to you and you look away or you shut down, I feel a drop in my stomach and tingling in my chest and this like heavy sadness, right? That is emotional vulnerability. Make sense? Then the need. We got the feeling, then we got the need. So name your need. And sometimes it makes sense to let them know the core need, but really, like, I want you to know what your core need is, and you can share it with them too. It might be understanding, clarity, certainty, safety, connection, love, closeness, affection, order, peace, communication, honesty. You get the picture. And then at the end of all this, you can make what's called an action request if it's fitting for your conversation. And how you do that is you say, would you be willing to? And then you name the need strategy that you're looking for. So would you be willing to let me know if you'll be coming home late from work so that I'm not wondering where you are, right? That's the request. And you, like, if your need is for whatever, open communication or staying on the same page, that your need strategy is like, hey, shoot me a text and just like let me know what you're up to, so I'm not left wondering what you're up to. Okay. So those are the steps to the connected communication framework, and there's more conversation examples here that you guys can check out on your own. And then there's also these connection killing and defensive triggering mistakes. I reviewed some of them, but I'm gonna just again let you go through and read through. But just some of them that I'll name that definitely kill connection, that start fights in relationships, are complaints, criticism, and accusatory language, like all I statements instead of or you statements instead of I statements, like you always, you never, you do this, you don't do this, you, right? You want to bring it back to me, I feel, I think, I need, I want, I desire, right? That's going to be useful. Uh, Also contemptuous, belittling, or sarcastic language. Want to stay away from that, of course. Makes sense why those would kill connection. And then intend to use these connection creating techniques. So only, like I talked about, only begin a conversation when you are in an open-hearted, calm, grounded states. Fights only happen when you or your partner or both of you are in a stress cycle or triggered state. Otherwise, you're just communicating. You're able to communicate clearly, openly, and effectively. Focus on solutions. Like instead of just the problem over and over and over again, like what are you trying to accomplish here? What do you want out of this communication? What is your intention for sharing? Um, um, what else do I want to share here? Oh yeah, so pick one issue at a time to discuss. Don't do what I call double booking issues, where you're bringing up like 4 things from the past and what happened last week and your fears about the future. Make it uncomplicated. Pick one thing to focus on and to navigate through. Also, I mentioned this, make a request instead of making a demand or a complaint. Use hedging, like, this may or may not be true. Maybe I misunderstood you. A part of me. So we didn't get too deep into parts work today, but when you start to understand and be able to see yourself as a system of parts, like there's a part of me that sometimes gets really like loud and feisty in conversation. There's a part of me that's a perfectionist. There's a part of me that sometimes, eats too much sugar. There's a part of me who sometimes feels insecure or anxious. When you start to see yourself as this complexity of parts, then you can start to speak for a part, not from a part. So speaking, let's say that you're pissed off. Something your partner does just got you seeing red, right? So if you're speaking from that angry part of you, you're probably yelling, you're screaming, you might be cussing, you might be bah, right? You're speaking like from that part, the angry part of you is like literally the one talking to your partner, versus speaking for the part is what you want to intend to do, which is you might get yourself to a calm centered state before you talk. And then you might say, there's a part of me that's fucking fuming. I'm so mad that, blah, 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 and da, da, da. And, here's why, and here's the unmet need. You want to speak for the part of you, not from the part of you. And then number 8 on connection creating techniques is ask yourself, what is the most loving thing that I could do here? Like, what does love look like in this situation? And sometimes love is fierce. Love comes with boundaries. Sometimes love is a very bold invitation to see me, meet me, hear me, listen to me. So love isn't always like soft and ushy and gushy. Sometimes there's a freaking force, a power that comes with love. And so just asking yourself, like, how do I love me in this conversation? How do I show up, loving them in this conversation? What would love do? Okay. And so that framework you can use for literally any conversation you have. I use it personally in my relationships. My clients love it. It works wonders. Let me see if there's anything else I want to share with you. I think, since this is a class about getting your needs met. One question I have for you is if you could share one main thing with your partner, like one main need or request or thought or feeling with your partner, and you knew that they would listen, you knew that they would understand, validate, and empathize with you, what would you say? What would you share? What would you want them to know? What would you ask of them? What would you request? Is there anything that you've been wanting to say that you haven't been saying because of some fear, or some worry, or some doubt, right? Like, well, I've already asked them a million times, nothing's changed. You know, why would I bother asking again? Check to see if there's any resignation or cynicism or just apathy. You kind of just like given up. Or check to see if there's a part of you that's feeling fearful or anxious, like, what if they say no, or what if they think I'm weird, or what if they, whatever, just see what's there. And and ask, like, what are you afraid would happen? What if you said that thing that you've been thinking about saying or wanting to say, or just haven't said yet? Like, what are you afraid would happen? And whatever you're afraid would happen, right now, I want you to explore and decide ahead of time how you would handle it. I make protocols with my clients so that they're never surprised by things in their relationship. Like if they, if they start spiraling or, anxious spiraling, whatever, they know what to do. I have a protocol called stop, drop, and regulate. And so they know exactly what to do and how to take care of themselves and how to meet their need to feel calm, cool, collected, and connected again. If their partner starts to get defensive, we got a protocol for that. So I want you thinking like, okay, well, what am I going to do? What would I say? How would I handle that? Um, Another question I have for you is, um, what, what could happen if you did communicate that thing, that need, that feeling? Like, what if you communicated it and it went well? What would be possible then? What would shift? What would change? What would open up for you? You know, there's this moment that was like maybe, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months into dating my boyfriend. And that's like still kind of new, And it was like one of the first like real sort of like breaks of communication and connection that we had. And woof, man, I went into yeah, like kind of anxious. My old anxious attachment patterns were activated. And what that looks like for me is that like so in this bit of basically what happened was I was in a really like stressed out, overwhelmed state, and my boyfriend left. He went to yoga, and then he went to dinner later without me and didn't communicate any of this. He just like avoided. He was like, I don't want to be around you when you're stressed like that. Um, I'm gonna be gone till 11 at night. And like I went into this like, oh my God, like he doesn't want to be around me, like I'm not lovable. This whole kind of negative self-talk, right? My inner child was like freaking out, like, oh God, he's gonna leave, like he doesn't want to be in this relationship. This is awful. And yeah, I mean, it was probably like I know that the emotional experience was coming from a very young, anxious, fearful, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment part of me. And so um I like bring I talk to that part of me. I got myself to a state of clarity of like why that was so activating for me, and all the meaning that I added to his actions, right? He went to yoga and then went to dinner and didn't tell me he was going to dinner and then got home at 11. Those are the facts. I made that mean, oh God, like he does, like I'm not lovable. He doesn't really want to be in this relationship. There's so much shame around it for me. And there's this moment, we do a practice called connection time where we like appreciate each other, acknowledge each other. We do calendars and just kind of like fill each other in on like what's happening that week. We also leave space where we talk about some real stuff. And there was this like there's this like moment where I was like on the fence. I was like, do I bring that up from 3 nights ago? Do I bring that up? Like we had been back, everything had been kind of like fine again. Like that night happened and whatever, then we kind of just moved on without talking about it like most couples do, right? Like stuff happens, you feel shitty, and then you don't have a repair conversation. You don't talk about it. And if you don't know what a repair conversation is, that is another thing that you want to get good at. And something that I teach my one-on-one clients is how to repair after disconnection. And so I had this opportunity. I knew it. I'm a relationship coach, right? I specialize in communication. And I was like, Erica, this is one of those moments where you talk about it. Even though it seems like it's been it's done, it's over, it's complete. This is where you have an opportunity to create a deeper sense of intimacy, bond, trust, connection, allow yourself to, your like sensitive self to be seen so that this guy can really see who you are and can really love you for who you are and care for you and treat you and meet your needs in the way that you need. And so I was like pooping my pants, but I initiated this conversation using the exact connected communication framework that I just shared with you guys. And I just opened up my whole heart. And I was like, this is what happened. This is what went on. This is the impact. Here's how I felt. Here's what I needed. And here's what I made it mean. And oh my God, his response was like nothing I'd ever gotten before from a partner. He just like started by bringing me in and just like hugging me and just like holding me. And now I'm just like crying, right? Because like that younger inner child part of me who had been so like fearful of like, oh God, I'm not lovable. Like I'm, whatever. He doesn't want to be with me. I'm scared. Like she's just like in so much relief, right? And I'm like in that moment, I healed a big chunk of my fear of abandonment and rejection. I healed a big part of my those old anxious attachment patterns that like kind of reared their head in that moment of disconnect with him. Like that got so there's just like so much safety and so much emotional intimacy there. And I felt so seen and so understood and so accepted. And so like all my feelings are welcome and valid. And just the sense of like he's not going anywhere. And he wanted to understand what that was all about. And then I wanted to understand what his experience was too, and how I was impacting him, because obviously I was in my stressed out state. And those are the moments that it's like afterwards you're like on cloud not like it can be emotionally exhausting and draining to have these very real conversations, but this is what creates the unfuckwithable levels of emotional connection and intimacy and depth and healing power that the container of a romantic relationship allows for. Romantic relationships are designed for growth. Like that's what they're about. It's like you enter in and you have this amazing experience, but it's inviting you to grow, to expand, to transcend, to shed old pieces of your identity, to put your ego aside, to heal, to become more self-aware, to become a more like a master of your emotions and thoughts, to have that emotional capacity to hold and feel your own emotions, and that emotional capacity to hold and validate and empathize with your partner's experience, your partner's emotions. That level of intimacy is only available if you create it, if you allow for it. It's only available if you have the capacity for it. There's this quote that says, it's not about feeling better. It's about getting better at feeling because we are emotional beings, right? God, we go through a whole rainbow of emotions in any given day, just like a baby does. Like a baby is like laughing and then crying and then screaming and yelling and upset, and then they're happy again, and then they're sleeping, and then they're awake. It's like, oh my gosh, we do that too. It's just that we've expanded our capacity to be with different emotions. Like every time you're sad, you don't cry, or every time you're uncomfortable, you don't cry, just like a baby does. You're expanding your capacity to hold yourself and hold your partner. And when that container, that capacity, that emotional resiliency, that nervous system work, the somatic work, when you get good at that, when you expand that capacity enough, then you can enter into these conversations calm, clear, grounded, and it doesn't like blow up into a fight, or somebody doesn't shut down and walk away and give you the cold shoulder or whatever it may be. You're able to stay, you're able to feel really intense emotions, just like I did in that conversation, like sharing so vulnerably with him about like, oh my God, like, and I made it mean that you didn't want to be in this relationship anymore. And I was like so scared, and I was like so anxious and full of shame. Like I was feeling all these intense emotions, but I was still able to be present with myself and present with him in the conversation. And that's what created that emotional intimacy and that connection, and had the conversation go well. So that is what I want for you. That is the work that I do with my clients. This is what I'm obsessed with, is having you become the type of person who can have these conversations, who can communicate with your partner and not have to like do this thing people say, choosing your battles. I never choose my battles. I'm always just in communication authentically, openly, and lovingly with the person that I love, and in communication with myself, getting clear on what do I need? What am I really feeling? What am I making it mean? How can I approach this in a way that's going to be useful for him and for me, and create a deeper sense of connection rather than communication that, remember the distinction between disconnected communication and connected communication? Let me pull that up here. Yeah. So, let's see. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So this thing, disconnected communication. So you can either communicate in a way that creates further disconnection, pissed offness, sadness, loneliness, or you can learn to communicate in a way that creates connection, love, intimacy. It's so good, so good, so worth slowing down and learning these tools. So that is the meat and potatoes of this training and of this how to communicate your needs and feelings without starting a fight. This is just like a small piece of the depth that I go into with my one-on-one clients. And this is a small piece, and this is already like, an hour and a half long training or whatever it is. And so you can just imagine like, what else do you not know that you don't know? What else is there, right? That's my job, is to show you the things that you don't know, your blind spots, so that you can see, that's what's been missing from my relationship. That's why I've been feeling and reacting and being triggered by that thing. That's how I solve it. And so my question to you is, what was your biggest takeaway from today? What hit home? What was useful? And what is one practice? What is like one thing that you are going to focus on and start implementing this week? Today with your partner. It could be any little thing. It could be, it doesn't have to be like that whole communication framework. You don't have to like dive right into some conversation that you're deathly afraid to have if you don't want to, but maybe you really listen when your partner speaks. You're really present with them. Or maybe you slow down to get present with yourself. But what's one thing that you're going to start doing? And I'd love to know. So shoot me a DM at the right Erica, WRIGHTERICA. And also don't forget that you can enter in at any time just a screenshot of this workshop, letting people know that it's available and that it's free. And then I will send you my whole breakdown mini course of my how to have a difficult conversation guide and scripts, all of that. And so, like I said, this is just one small piece of the complete relationship framework that I take my coaching clients through, so that they can have like the kind of love, the kind of partnership, like that playful, alive, passionate, fulfilling, deeply intimate love that we all want. Like, who doesn't, right? And so it really, it's like when you know how to when you know how to find the on switch for your most confident, radiant, alive, grounded, energetic, authentic, highest version of yourself, then the way that you see yourself, the way that you see your partner, the way that you view relationships and life, it shifts dramatically. It's like you're not even looking at the same person anymore when you change what's going on internally, in here and in here, in your head and in your heart. And I want you to be able to use your words like a magic wand, where you use your words to create the kind of experience, the kind of love, the kind of connection that you want to have in life with yourself, with others, with your partner. And like I said, this is about embodying the frequency of love. This is all about love, you guys. Back to Whitney Houston, higher love. That's my mission. That's what we do here. We bring you into love for yourself, for the different parts of you, even the parts of you that feel unlovable or shameful or unwanted. When you can learn to accept yourself and who you are and how you are and these different parts of your qualities and characteristics, that's where the magic happens. That's where change is available. What we resist persists. As long as we're like, resisting this part of yourself or resisting this part of your relationship or resisting this part of your partner, as long as we're not in acceptance, we get nowhere. We stay stuck feeling crappy, blaming other people in victim mindset. So the work that I do with people is about getting out of survival mode and into feeling alive in yourself, in your life again. It's about getting rid of all your coping mechanisms and protection mechanisms that you've developed to keep yourself safe and stepping into patterns of connection, out of patterns of protection like defensiveness or withdrawing or blaming others, or even patterns of protection like thinking you're not good enough to have what you want in a relationship or thinking your needs are too much, and into patterns of connection with yourself and with the people around you that you love. So this is what people are talking about when they say you got to do the work, do the work, do the inner work. This is the work. This is what we're talking about here. And so I want to share with you just, like a brief snapshot of my process and my framework called the Connected Love Framework that I take my one-on-one clients through. I want to share what it looks like with you just so you have an idea of what's available for you and what's possible. And so I'm going to share my screen once again. Okay, so you can see this. All right. So here is the Connected Love Framework. And like I said, we are here for relationships. We're talking about romantic relationships, but to have the relationship of your dreams, you must come inward. You must start with yourself. It all begins there. And so that's why this framework starts with empowered self-knowing. Right? This is really knowing yourself inside and out and what you stand for. Being able to know really what's there so that you can trust yourself and trust your decision making. When you have empowered self-knowing, you have a strong sense of identity clarity in your values and beliefs, and the ability to navigate life with confidence and authenticity. You are in command of your internal world. You aren't living at the effect of other people or circumstances outside of you. So you're not like, um, you know, if somebody offers you a thought or an opinion out about you that is like not so nice, this doesn't like wipe you out. Or if your partner's in a bad mood, you're not just like suddenly in a bad mood and feeling like anxious and uneasy just because they're in a bad mood. I don't want you at the effect that's like codependency at its finest, right? Like, I don't want you at the effect of somebody else or some circumstance or something happens at work and then you're just overwhelmed and stressed and like pissed off about it. Like, I don't want your emotional state being blown around like the wind by stuff happening outside of you. I want you grounded, calm, collected, and you get to choose your experience, your emotional experience. Empowered self-knowing is being committed to understanding your mind, the difference between your conscious and subconscious mind. It's knowing that that your thoughts create your feelings, and then your feelings create your actions, and your actions create your results. Something that I teach my clients is a tool called the model, and we look at the think, feel, act cycle. So what you're thinking creates how you're feeling, creates your actions, and then from there, that creates the results that you have in your life and in your relationship. Also, empowered self-knowing requires being tuned into your origin stories. Like, what did you learn growing up about love, about relationships, about what's possible? What did you learn about yourself? Um, so much of what went on in our childhood is being played out in our adult romantic relationships. And it leaves you so disempowered, not understanding why you keep running into conflict after conflict after conflict, or heartbreak after heartbreak, failed relationship after failed relationship. If you don't know why that's going on, of course you're going to feel defeated and not good enough and like, what the heck is wrong with me? Something must be wrong with me. So empowered self-knowing gets you out of that. We look at your patterns, we look at your past, we look at what your current personal identity is, because your identity and who you are, who you're being, your beliefs, that is what creates your life. Your life right now is literally a printout of your subconscious belief system. This is why empowered self-knowing is so key. So when you realize, oh, wow, literally what I have going on in my bank account, my health, my relationships or my love life, my friendships, my mental state, my emotional state, all of that is a reflection of what I've been thinking and believing. Damn. And what I've been programmed to think and believe. Like, for instance, many of my clients, have this belief that conflict is scary and bad, and oh my God, they run for the hills, right? And that's off, if we didn't see healthy conflict in, if our parents weren't modeling healthy conflict and healthy repair conversations, then yeah, we have a belief conflict is scary and loud and name calling happens and oh my God, and I don't want to do it. I now have adopted this. Well, that was my old belief and a lot of my clients' beliefs. And so no wonder I was afraid of conflict and wouldn't want to talk about the real stuff with my partner. Now I have a completely different belief system around conflict. I use it as a method to connect more deeply, to build trust, to build intimacy, and to heal parts of myself. That's what I use conflict for now. It's freaking amazing. It's magical. All right. Okay. So then we have the next piece to this framework, which is secure magnetic confidence. We've got to get you feeling secure. This looks at attachment styles. There are 4 different attachment styles. You probably are well aware. We have anxious, we have fearful avoidant, and dismissive avoidant, and then secure is the last one. So any anxious or avoidant, all of those are insecure attachment styles, and that is, creates, all of them really have, there's like an anxiousness about whether you're avoidant or you're anxious. There's still like an anxiousness there. It's just that anxious people like lean into connection more than avoidant people do. If there's conflict, avoidant people want to run the other way, they shut down, they withhold, they don't want to talk about it, whereas more anxious attachment people are like, let's talk about it now, we need to work this out, I feel so anxious unless we clean this up immediately. So attachment styles, we want you in a secure attachment style. The way that we do that is through a modality called parts work and rapid resolution therapy. But like really, this grounded confidence, this magnetic secure confidence that we're looking for is also the antidote to insecurity and jealousy in relationship. And really, like, I don't know what your relationship is like, but I want you to, like, I want your partner to be able to have as many friends of the opposite sex as they want, and you're like, cool, you know, I know that you're coming home to me, like, I know that you choose me, I'm not worried about that. So that's that confidence piece, just like confidence in who you are, confidence in your relationship, confidence that you can choose and can have chosen the right person. Or if you're not in a relationship, this magnetic secure confidence is what's going to also call in a healthy secure person. If you don't have the secure magnetic confidence going on, you probably have had a series of not so great relationships, or you've been ghosted, or you have been in toxic relationships, or you've dated a bunch of like avoidant people who like don't choose you. That's probably a you know, attachment issue here. That's probably a confidence issue. All right, then we have awakening, growth, and healing. So this is, you know, the cycle breaking part of this journey with people. And pretty much every session I have with people, we're doing some sort of growth and healing work paired with coaching. And this is where we're doing inner child work or reparenting. We're doing shadow work, building confidence and self-worth, building trust, knowing the difference between your intuition and fear. We do ancestral healing. We look at the, you know, your whole family system, but whatever, and also if there's stuff from the past, right, like trauma, drama, PTSD or CPTSD, like we go deep with this healing work in this process. And really, like, through parts work, this is where I show you to how to be your own best healing agent. So yeah, that's all I'll say about that. And then we have a resilient emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence, right? Like learning how to self-soothe, how to stay calm, how to communicate your needs from a place of this calm, grounded clarity, how to be unbothered, how to let things go, how to, you know, neutralize triggers and spend less time feeling, you know, sad or down or anxious or pissed off. Like, imagine, you know, the last thing that threw you for a loop in your relationship. Like, what was the last thing that like really triggered you? What was it? Like something that left you feeling hurt or sad or angry. And imagine all the time you spent like ruminating about that, feeling pissed off, feeling agitated, feeling triggered. And then imagine if you could cut that down by 90%. So you might be triggered by something and then you feel a big emotion about it, but then you immediately have a protocol, stop, drop, and regulate. You know exactly what to do to get back down into a state of calm, of groundedness. So you spend hours, days, weeks of your life feeling pissed off, hurt, lonely, sad, agitated, all those crappy emotions. And what if you could cut that down by 90%? Where you know you know what to do in those moments. You expand your capacity to be with and hold your emotions. So it's not like such a scary thing to feel a certain feeling. You're like, cool, I know what to do and I know how to do this. And emotional intelligence also allows for you to connect with your partner in that way, where you can hold space for their emotions. So yeah, if your partner, doesn't text you back in the time that you thought that they would text you, that you don't have a meltdown. You don't like anxious spiral and be like, oh my God, are they mad at me? Are they gonna break up with me? You just, it doesn't happen like that. Okay, then connected communication and conflict repair. We did some of this today. I gave you one piece of my connected communication framework and protocol to have, a connected communication, a connected conversation. And then I mentioned a little bit about conflict repair. There's another type of conversation called a repair conversation. And this is the conversation you want to have after, like, you have a break in connection, after a fight, after something went awry. You want to know how to communicate in a way that creates the repair again. When we're looking at connected communication and conflict repair, we're talking about fair fighting, like do's and don'ts of, if you're in an argument or whatever it may be, like here's how you take it from being a fight to just a conversation that might have an emotional intensity to it, but it really feels more like you're sharing and I'm sharing. We're not actually fighting or arguing here. I want you, I never feel like I'm fighting or arguing with my partner. I will say that again. I never feel like I am fighting or arguing with my partner. We are always just in communication. And sometimes my emotional state is up high. Sometimes my emotional state is down low. Sometimes I'm calm. Sometimes I'm triggered. But I never feel like we're fighting or arguing, because we're not. Because there are no battles, because there are no fights. There's only communication, connected communication. Okay, so that's what's possible. And then the thing that holds all the glue that holds the relationships together is illuminated intimacy, right? Emotional intimacy, physical intimacy. If you guys aren't connecting and having fun together and being best friends, we've got a problem. I want you to always feel like your partner really is truly your best friend, and that you really can like take down the shield and the protective stuff and actually be intimate with them, emotionally intimate with them. Into me you see intimacy. And that, in order to do that, that also requires secure magnetic confidence, part 2 of this framework. Because if you're holding shame around something about yourself, you're not going to be willing to be intimate, that close, that deep with your partner. If you're like still hiding and protecting certain emotions, vulnerabilities, sensitivities, facts about yourself, that all keeps you in protection mode, a pattern of protection rather than a pattern of connection, and actually letting yourself be seen for the beautiful human that you are in all of your humanness and all of your emotion, all your beautiful emotion, all your sensitivities, being able to cry in front of your partner, being able to cry anytime you feel like crying. I cry all the time, you guys, all the time. My partner calls it wringing out my sponge, where like at the end of the week, I will start sharing about, something, this, that, the other thing, or sharing about some thought I was having. And I will literally just release and relieve myself with tears, right? And it just shifts all that pent up energy or overwhelm or stress out of my body. And it's like, I'm like wringing out my sponge, and, and he just like holds me and like rocks me and is like, I love you. It's okay. I know you got this. It's all good. You're amazing. You're the best coach. He always tells me that. You're the best coach. I think I'm finally starting to believe it. So that's my framework for the one-on-one work that I do with my clients. It's very like, that's a general high level overview. The work that I do is very customized. I work with people that have all sorts of things They come to me with all sorts of things. So, most of them are in partnered in relationships. Some of them are going through heartbreak. Some of them are dating and wanting to be in a relationship, wanting to be able to call in their partner, their soulmate. Some of them have been married for, 20 years and they're navigating, okay, like where is the spark? Where we feel like roommates. So it doesn't really matter what stage of relationship you are in. Um, I I will work with all of you guys. Um, whatever there is. And then also the other thing that people come to me for is relationship to self, which of course is the biggest thing. And um, so people come to me with like overeating issues or over drinking issues or skin picking issues or um depression or social anxiety or like I don't know, some sort of thing happened to them as a child and they still feel like shame around it, or they still feel like guilt around it or fear around it. Um, my magic is I clear emotion that is dysfunctional and not necessary. So things like uh, fear, anxiety, grief, sadness, anger, resentment, shame, embarrassment, guilt, regret, all of those emotions, not useful for you, not even for a bit. And so if right now you're feeling any of that, or if right now, or if you could even think of something that's happened in the past and you could like, you still feel an emotion about it, that means that thing's not clear. That thing, there is still energy running, right? Like I can think of this time that my mom and I, oof, we let each other have it. It was like World War III growing up in my house. And oof, I remember this one fight so clearly. I was supposed to like make cookies for all my friends at school, and she like got mad at me. And so she like, I had this cool cookie press thing that I was going to use, and she took it and she hit it. And that was like the punishment, whatever I did. Like she's like, I'm taking away this. You can't make your cookies anymore. And oh my God, that just got me going. I was like 12, oh my God, I'm gonna be rejected at school. I'm not gonna have the cookie. It was so bad. But when I think about it now, I think it's kind of funny. And I'm just like, oh my God, we were ridiculous. I feel neutral. I feel completely neutral about it. There's no resentment, there's no anger, there's no pain, there's no sadness. There's no hurt left over. And so that is clear. That's what it looks like when you are clear and free emotionally. And a lot of us, because we're human and the way that our brain functions, the conscious and the unconscious together don't really work. Things get gunked up in there. So if there's something that you can sit here and you're listening to me and you can recall, and like something that happened, whatever, 2 months ago, and you're still mad about it, or you're still sad about it, you're still hurt about it, that lets me know that thing isn't clear and you aren't free. And your energy is draining, going to that thing still, going to that thing still, going to that thing still. And so that's part of what we would do together if we work together is I want you clear and free emotionally. Um, and yeah, that's that. I just share that because I want you to know that that's possible, that you can be clear and free around specific events. Or if in the future, right? If you like know, oh gosh, like I sometimes have social anxiety, or I'm like afraid to talk to people, or I'm afraid of public speaking, or I'm afraid to communicate with my partner. I also want you to be clear of that, right? I want you to feel calm, grounded, safe to talk about anything with your partner. And I want you to have the tools to be able to do that. Um, so this work, I mean, this is the work that has like completely changed my life, that took me from this like unfulfilled, purposeless, very low self-confidence, like not knowing what like who I was, or even like how to like have a relationship at all, to what I am today, like living my purpose, living my dharma, like doing this work, being of service to others, like being a healer, healing myself. Um, that's what this is all about. Is like you experiencing life to the fullest, you healing so that you can expand your capacity for pleasure, for love, for joy, for all the experiences that you've ever really wanted, and mostly for peace, peace of mind, peace in your heart, putting your body at peace. Because when you're at peace, when you're not in survival mode, when you're not triggered or agitated or fearful or anxious or feeling insecure or in self-doubt, imposter syndrome, when you're actually like at peace in your system, what's left is love. And that's how you build and create the type of dream partnership that you want. That's like exceeds any expectation you could ever dream of, just like how it happened for me. Couldn't even make this guy up. This relationship that the practices that we do, the dynamics, like the way that we look at each other across the room, like I never knew this was possible. And that is what I want for you. And so that is the invitation that I'm making to you today. And if you are called to do this work, if you're called to explore this journey for yourself, I would love to have a conversation with you. How that works is you can click the button below this video and book a free consultation call. On this consultation call, you and I will, you get my undivided attention for 50 minutes, almost an hour. Usually, depending on how the conversation's going, sometimes we'll talk for an hour and we'll just connect and share. And I want to hear about what it is that you want. What's been bugging you? What's been going on in your world? What do you need? Where do you need support? And more importantly, like, what do you actually want to create in your life? What type of relationships do you want to have? How do you want to feel about yourself? Like when you wake up every day? How do you want to feel when you're going to bed every day? How do you want to feel when your partner walks into a room? And if you're not partnered, what does that dream relationship look like? Like, just imagine like being able to meet that person, being able to share the experiences with that person. That's what I want for you. I want you to have whatever you want to have. And so sometimes we limit ourselves and we're like, oh, I want that, but I don't know, maybe not for me. And so I don't want you to stop yourself. At least book the call. At least come talk to me. At least we'll get to connect and have a good conversation. And if it's in alignment with you, and if you really truly feel like this is your next step, this is your next path, then on the call, we'll talk about what it looks like to actually work together and move forward. But that call is designed for you. It's designed for you to ask any questions you want. I'm literally a wide open book. I will share anything. I can also share more deeply about the modalities that I use. The primary ones being parts work or internal family systems, rapid resolution therapy, emotional freedom technique or EFT, and then breath work and somatic work, because emotions live in the body. We've got to get the body on board. We do thought work, but we also do embodiment work so that you walk into a room as your confident self. Like people can see it, people can feel it, people can register it. And actually, I'm going to share one more amazing client story that just reminds me. Let's see. I'm going to share some of Kimberly's words here with you. Where is she? Amazing, Kimberly. Oh my gosh. Okay, so she says, after one session, I noticed something different about me. I can actually look in the mirror and admire what I see. I remember feeling dead inside before working with Erica. I was in survival mode. I was just doing what I had to do to make it through life. I would sleep a lot and not find joy and excitement in much. I remember one of the first intentions that Erica set for me was saying that she could see me driving home in my car from work, listening to music and feeling at peace. And when I actually experienced this, like, by the way, she actually did, she said, wow, that intention came through. And I hadn't felt that way in such a long time. I feel more alive these days. I smile more. I laugh more. I give all the parts of myself a lot more compassion. I get out of the house more. I connect with my friends, and I actually feel a connection, and I feel more connected in my personal life. I am no longer in survival mode. Something has shifted, and it's noticeable to friends who have mentioned that they can feel a shift in me as well. I can actually look in the mirror and admire what I see. I give myself compliments and believe them. I am able to have a relationship with those parts of me, parts of myself that have caused me shame in the past. And oh my gosh, she goes on to say all sorts of amazing, beautiful things. Maybe I'll link this testimonial page below too if you want to go see what's possible for yourself. This is my favorite thing from Kimberly though. She says, "I'm now entering the bad bitch chapter of my life, and working with Erica helped me to experience breakthroughs to get there. The fact that I feel alive and that I'm no longer in survival mode made it worth the investment to me. Erica is understanding, compassionate, and has so many gifts to offer you. Working with Erica will help you tap into your mind, body, and spirit to spark healing on all levels." So that is Kimberly's story. Oh my God. She totally blows my mind. So cool. So amazing. And that is what I want for you. I want you to know that whatever you're up against, no matter the problem, big or small, whatever obstacle, whatever you've been feeling, there's a solution. There's a solution, and I know exactly how to get you to where you want to be and to the relationship with yourself and with your partner that you want to have. And so that is what I've got for you today. Again, even if you're a tiny bit curious, just invite you to book a call with me. We'll just have a conversation. You can share whatever you're gonna share. I'd love to meet you. If you're still listening to this, you're still on this recording listening. I'd love to, get to connect with the people who are watching this. And like this is what I live for, is being of service to others. This is like my passion. This is my aliveness. Like this is the secret sauce. This is it. um God, I spent so many years like so disconnected from myself, in so much pain, drinking too much, eating too much, not loving what I was doing, not happy in relationships, dating unavailable people, feeling so much shame, anxiety, blah, right? And this is the work that got me out of it. And this is what like brought me alive in my life. And that's why I'm so freaking passionate about getting it out to as many people as possible. And so that's me. That's me. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for spending this much time with me. It has been an honor to walk with you through this class today. And I would love to connect with you either on a consultation call or on Instagram or TikTok. You can find me there at the right Erica. Again, it's my last name, WRIGHTERICA. Shoot me a DM. Like, let me know if this even is helpful, if you liked this training, what you're taking away from it. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm totally an open book. I've got your back every step of the way, and I love you. So thank you for being here today. And I look forward to connecting with you all the ways. See you on the Instagrams. Okay. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and the light in me sees and honors the light in you. Okay. See you later. Bye.